Hey, my friend. Welcome back to this week's Sidereal Astrology Forecast for the week of November 25th through December 1st. That's right. We are ending November. We are beginning December, our last month of 2024. And in this video, we are going to talk all about what is happening in our sky, especially around Mercury retrograde and our new moon in Scorpio that takes place on Sunday. Plus, we've got this holiday here in the US. So we're going to look at what the energy is around the holiday, just to give you some insights on how you can maybe expect or anticipate what this holiday might be for you. All right, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. And as I do so, I'm going to remind you, first off, if we have not met, hello, Danny C. Muniz here, intuitive astrologer, spiritual counselor, helping women in business, spiritual business owners, really understand the strategy and the soul for life and business. We bring in the mystical, the woo, the spiritual into everything that we do here. And so we are going to kick off with our State of the Union. And as a reminder, if you are watching this on YouTube, you get to see all of the slides, the charts here. If you are listening to this on the podcast, yes, there is a podcast called the Cosmic Mystic Podcast where all of these forecasts get put after they're here on YouTube. So you can, if you just want to listen, if you just want me in your earbuds, on your walk, on your drive, while you're working or doing things around the house, then you can listen on the podcast, or you can watch it here on YouTube and then go listen on the podcast. All the links will be down in the description box and the show notes, so you can switch back to whichever is going to work for you. All right, so let's take a look at where everybody is hanging out right now. And as you can see, as we kick off the end of the week, let me go back to the beginning of the week. I was looking at that new moon there. All right, we've got our sun right here, 9 degrees Scorpio. We've got Mercury still going direct here in Scorpio, 28 degrees. Mercury will actually be going retrograde later on the 25th, about 8 Central Time. So within that hour, we'll see that retrograde start to happen. Although I've already been hearing a lot about things already happening. All right, we've got Venus here at 22 degrees Sagittarius. As that reminder, Pluto has not moved into Aquarius. It is not the age of Aquarius, as I hear all of the people out there talking from the sidereal astrology standpoint. We are still in Capricorn, as you can see, 5 degrees right here. And our true sidereal astrology friends, which look at the sky just slightly different than we do, they'll even tell you that we are in Sagittarius still. So depending on what you follow and what feels right for you, because none of them is better than the other, they are just different ways of looking at it. And my friend, I'm going to tell you, if this resonates with you, then here we go. If tropical resonates with you, then there you go. This channel is all about sidereal astrology, though. All right, keeping it going with Saturn, we've got Saturn in Aquarius at 18 degrees direct. We've got Neptune in Pisces, 2 degrees in retrograde still, our North Node in Pisces. We've got Chiron retrograde in Pisces, Uranus retrograde in Taurus. We still got it in Taurus there at 0 degrees. We've got Jupiter in Taurus retrograde. We've got Mars over here in Cancer still, 11 degrees there. And then we've got our moon and south node both in Virgo. So this week, as we move through the week, keep in mind that we are preparing for new moon. So the energy of the lunar cycle, it is at its lowest point. It is preparing. We are slowing down. This is the opportune time to reflect, which is If you didn't know, we are doing Sacred CEO Circle. That is where small business owners, spiritual business owners, we get together and we reflect on the past 30 days in ceremony, in circle together. We do a somatic breathwork practice to release the energy of the past month, and then we prepare our hearts, our minds for what it is that we want to create in the December or the next month. So in this case, it is December, the last 30 days of the year, so that when we get to new moon, we can really set a very powerful intention. So make sure that you sign up for Sacred CEO. It is a virtual event. It is a workshop. It's 3 hours because, my friend, we are 3 important components there: the reflection, the breath work of releasing, and then the visioning into the new month and what it is that we want. And so we take that time. It's a very sacred time every single month to do just that. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. And we've got one aspect that I want to talk about here with the sun that comes in at the end of the week, or actually middle of the week, not end of the week, but middle of the week. So right here on Thursday, again, Thanksgiving here in the US, we've got the sun making a square over here to Saturn. Now, the other ones we've talked about, and you can check out previous forecasts for those, but this one in particular can make things a little bit difficult and can restrict things just a bit around the feelings of pessimism and even depression. And this is going to coat the Thanksgiving season. We're already in the season, so I really shouldn't say season, but like that day, that opportunity, right? Depending on when and how you celebrate, there could be a little bit of difficulty here. It just might feel like there's just a little bit more of a burdensome around some things, tougher to kind of meet your goals or achieve your goals. Remember, whenever we're talking about Saturn, it's that really responsible, much heavier type energy that is very grounded and that can be very pessimistic. And so it might be a little bit harder to see the good, so to speak, with this particular transit. And this transit it starts here on Thanksgiving, but it's going to go till the 9th of December. So it's going to go in through that first week of December into the very beginning of that next week. So I would say expect some criticism here, expect some maybe even demands from somebody who is in an authority position, or it might also feel like rejection or isolation. I tell you this to say that I understand that this time of year, and especially when we start having these holidays here where there's gatherings with family members where maybe, it's a little bit more challenging. Maybe we don't believe in the same things. Maybe, they're not happy with the path that you've taken, or maybe there's political issues, right? You guys don't agree on the same policies, or maybe religion, don't agree necessarily on that standpoint. And so I tell you this now because this is the energy that is potential here, okay? This is the potential energy that you might experience during this time. Patience is going to be the number one thing I'm going to say. The second thing I'm going to say is empathy. Empathy. If we are choosing to be conscious leaders, we understand that not everybody has the same awareness that we do. Now, I don't want to get into it too much here in this episode or this what is this video? There we go. I'm talking podcasts and I'm talking YouTube here, because I am going to do a full podcast episode all about this and my thoughts on how you can approach the holidays and how we can really empower ourselves through this season despite what other people may do. But I want you to keep in mind that people, family members, friends, that aunt, aunt or Uncle Joe that you haven't seen in years that has a different perspective on life than you do, that isn't doing the inner work like you do. We can have a lot of grace for that. We can have a lot of empathy for that in where they are on their journey, right? It's where they are on their journey. As a person who believes in respecting other people's belief systems, they're not always going to agree with ours, and we don't want them necessarily to do something or believe in something that they don't believe in. And we don't want to force anybody into something, right? You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. We can give them the opportunity to work on themselves, to understand themselves better, but it is up to them to make that change. It is up to them to step forward in that. All we can simply do is choose how we want to respond, how we want to choose to perceive the situations that are before us. So keep that in mind, because this square energy can be a little bit challenging already on top of a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio season and the holiday. So I'm telling you this all now, my friends, so that you can prepare. As a matter of fact, we have a Magic Monday that you can go watch, where we are working on releasing the energy from whatever it is that we're anticipating or we're carrying right now about the upcoming holiday, or the day, so to speak. And also really setting an intention for how we want this week to go, because there's 7 days here. There isn't just one day, there's 7 days. All right, moving forward. I got the song from Friends. Is it Friends? Yeah. Moving forward. No, that's not Friends. Oh, I can't remember. Imaginary grace. I don't know the words. The human race. I can't think of it. I can't think of I can hear it though. Oh, I'll stop the world and melt with you. Do you know what song? Do you know what song that is, my friend? Tell me you know what song I'm talking about. You've seen the difference, and it's getting better all the time. Okay, we'll move forward now. All right, moon. Let's talk about where our moon's going to be this week, because we do, as I said, have a new moon coming in at the end of the week. But we do kick off this week Monday and Tuesday. Our moon will be moving through the zodiac sign of Virgo. So Virgo is an earth sign, so there's a lot of energy around getting things done and getting things set up in a structure or a system of some sort. So this is a really good time to look at what are your habits, what are the practices, what are the rituals, what are the things that you're doing as you move through this week. And I'm going to say that are going to support you and what it is in the energy of what you want this week to be. I'm really coming into this week with the idea of the energy that I want for this week is peace. So peace within myself, peace around me, and peace in who I interact with as I move through this week. And so that is really what I'm calling in. So if that is the energy that I want to share or I want to be in, then what are the things that I can do to help support me so that I can have that peace? Does it mean I need to take a little bit of extra time in the morning to maybe go on my walk or sleep in a little bit more or journal or meditate? Is there a crystal that maybe I want to work with? Is there a process or ritual that I want to do every morning to make sure that I really am stepping into that energy of peace every single day? A really good thing to do under the Virgo energy. And then on Wednesday, we move into Libra, and we'll be in the energy of Libra all the way through Friday. So over our Thanksgiving holiday there, our moon will be moving through Libra. So we can see her moving through Libra right through here. And what that means is that's an air sign. So there's lots of energy around thoughts, around thinking, definitely in the communication area. But Libra is all about balance and harmony. It's about maintaining the status quo. So I really love this as the moon that we are entering and we will be in through this period, because it is definitely more of the peacekeeper here. And so the only thing that the only caution I have here with Libra, and I'll put it out here, is that we tend to want this, want to keep the peace. And so we don't want to disrupt things. Libra doesn't like to disrupt things. And so there could be situations where you're really being challenged by something, and you might feel like you want to hold your tongue. Now, I'm going to say this: there is a time and a place for everything. Sometimes the time is not at that dinner table when the entire family is there and there's something that you've been really wanting to talk to your mom about, and right there she makes a comment and you really want to go after that. Might not be the right time. Now, does that mean that I'm not telling you, and I want you to hear me clearly here, I'm not saying that you don't need to have that conversation with your mom. You definitely need to have that conversation with your mom. Is it the right time and place to have that conversation? Is that fair to either of you? Right? And whether your mom believes that or not, whether she's the one that's trying to pull you into the conversation right then or not, you, as somebody who is a conscious leader, someone who understands what is happening in the world, right? What is happening in the mechanics of things, you understand that it's not the best time. Our ego will want to tell us that she needs to be told, she needs to be put in her place. She called us out. The conscious part of you, the grounded part of you, the part that comes from love and acceptance, empathy, understands that it's not the right time. Okay, so keep that in mind, that we could have the tendency to want to keep the peace. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go bite your tongue and never talk to your mom again. That is not what I'm saying at all. There is clearly a conversation that I would say needs to be had. Does it need to be had when she's running around all over the place trying to make sure that dinner is on the table for everybody? Probably not. Is it a conversation that maybe can happen after, later, or maybe the next day? Absolutely. When you have your thoughts clear and you give the person, I'm saying mom here, but this could be anybody, but you give that person the opportunity. We're going to dive more into that in the episode, the podcast episode, all around how to kind of handle this and some strategies for you. But I wanted to kind of bring that in here because the Libra energy can definitely have you just wanting to bite your tongue and not talk about it at all. And that is not what I'm saying by any means. I'm telling you to have the conversation when it's when the right time is. And is there ever a perfect time? Absolutely not. But there are times that are better than others, and we can be aware of that. All right, coming in on Saturday and Sunday, the moon will be moving through Scorpio. And on Sunday, we do have our new moon in Scorpio. So let's talk a little bit about some of the themes of this new moon in Scorpio. So the moon in Scorpio invites us into that deeper emotional energy, confronting past wounds, embracing transformation. And so there could be things, obviously, that are coming up during this new moon for us to transmute, to transform. We've got and actually let me pull it up here so you can see it. We actually will have a square to Saturn, as we talked about earlier, with that square to Saturn. Oops, why am I going minutes? Like, why isn't it moving? Because it was in minutes, not hours. So that square to Saturn is urging us to explore the emotional, right? The emotional components, the emotional pieces of our shadows. Also the emotional challenges around isolation or even difficulty connecting with others. And so I'm trying to get here, but I can't do two things at once, clearly, because I'm trying to advance here and it's taken me a minute to do that. There we go. Okay, now that we're here, now I can show you. So this takes place here on the on the 1st, goodness, there we go, at 12:21 a.m. So this will happen overnight, Saturday evening to Saturday morning. Okay, here we have, so let me show you. There's that square over there to Saturn. We've also got a trine to our north node, and we've got a sextile over here to the south node, and then we've got this trine over here to Mars. And so let's talk about this trine over here to Mars, because Mars is the time to act. So this is acting. This is taking initiative, moving things forward. So this is where there might be some energy around, like, I'm really ready for the new year. There's things that I see that I want to achieve, that I want to go after, that I'm ready to work through, or ready to expand into. Let's use that. That's a better word. And yet there are still some emotional triggers. There are still some unhealthy emotional patterns that are still kind of holding me back and keeping me from doing the actions, from taking the initiatives. And so this new moon is really like looking at some of those emotional patterns that are stopping you. And it can be, my friend, from the smallest thing, of the thing that you're not doing, right? Maybe there's a small habit that you have that is actually making a much, much, much bigger impact in why you're not achieving the thing, or why you're not going after the thing. And so this is something for us to look at in this new moon, of on the emotional landscape, what is the unhealthy emotional patterns that I am stuck in, that I might be looping in, that are keeping me stuck? Because Mars is ready to kind of move us through, and that intention will definitely be, I would recommend it being around moving something forward, initiating something, getting something started. And we want to make sure that we are doing the inner work to bring forward into our awareness whatever that emotional pattern or loop may be. All right, so that is our new moon on Sunday. So let's talk about, we're going to talk about Venus, and then I want to talk about the Mercury retrograde, because we did have, and this came in at the end of the week. I did talk about it in the last forecast, but we have with Venus, we have this square over here to Chiron. And I just want to bring that in too, because this energy is coming through a lot of around this Thanksgiving holiday and this week. So this will fall off on the 2nd, which is on that Tuesday. But this is any unresolved relationships, or even current relationships that might be bringing up some old wounds, some old heartache, some unresolved losses. Those could definitely be coming up during this time as well. It might feel like people are pushing you, like there's this pushiness of people like expecting you to do something, or wanting you to do something, and that doesn't feel good, or you doing that to others. That's also something that can happen during this. So keep those things in mind as we are moving through this. Now let's talk about Mercury, because Mercury does go retrograde, as I said, on the 25th, and it goes in the evening. So if I move this, if I move this over to the 25th here, and then I go down to about, let's go 8:45 p.m., we're going to see that Mercury is now retrograde. See how it's in that red at 28 degrees. So Mercury in Scorpio here in retrograde. So we've been talking about this is coming, this is starting, this is happening. We've been in the shadow period. Now Mercury is going to be in the retrograde position for November 26th through December 14th, the Mercury will be retrograde in Scorpio. So remember, retrograde is always an opportunity to revisit, to rethink, to redo, to reflect. This is an internal introspection on your thinking, on your communication, on your perspective, how you're processing information, and how you're sharing that information. And so from this Scorpio lens, it is more of an emotional lens, and it is more of a transformative lens. So because of that new moon energy, I really am going to encourage you to look at those emotional loops, emotional patterns that may have been that are kind of like you're kind of stuck in them. You kind of keep getting caught up in them. You can do some different there's tons of different ways that you can look at your belief systems and really allow yourself to shift through them. Remember that there is always an understanding that needs to happen. There's forgiveness that needs to happen. And then there is the actual releasing and letting go so that you can move forward. And those are the 4 stages of healing that I work with my clients through. If you are somebody that needs some extra support, I'd definitely recommend going to a healer or a coach of some sort that can help you work through these. I'd love to be that person for you as well. So feel free to go down into the show notes and go to thepeaceteacher.com/apply. Would love to apply to be somebody that can support you through those transitions. If you're wanting extra guidance and support, definitely make sure that you are finding a healer of some sort or a coach that can help you work through these. The other thing I would say is you can do some of the regular practices, the journaling practices, the somatic breath work is always a great practice that you can do to help release some of these things. There are some things that we can't see, and that's why it's really good to have some extra support in your corner who can help guide you through these. This, my friend, is going to be one interesting season here with this Mercury retrograde. We had this last year. It's very similar. It wasn't in Scorpio, which Scorpio can be a little bit more aggressive in that emotional, approach. So just an opportunity for us to up level in our empathy, up level in our patience, and become an even better version of ourselves. My friend, this has been your Sidereal Astrology Forecast for the week of November 25th through December 1st. Make sure to take some time to do that reflection this week, to slow down, to set an intention for what it is that you want this week to be and you want to experience if you are engaging in any holiday celebrations that may not be the ones that you necessarily are excited to go to, or you feel there might be some challenging situations around that. Definitely set your intention on how you want to experience that, my friend. The power of intention is absolutely powerful. Be sure to stay tuned for the episode on the podcast all about how to, strategies on how to work through this. As I mentioned, I dropped a couple of things here and there, but if you want more of that, definitely check out that deep dive on the podcast coming out this week. And last but not least, don't forget to save your seat for Sacred CEO Circle that is happening. I think this is our last Sacred CEO Circle of the year. And then it's going to shift a bit into 2025. So if you've wanted to experience it, or if you're just finding out about it now, then definitely go check it out down below in the description box. I'd love to help support you in this deep reflection through this magical season. All right, my friend, have a great rest of your day. And until next time, go ahead and take a nice deep breath with me and let it go. And find peace.